Shout out to my friend Jimbus Maximus. Turns out that he got one of these as well. And as he pointed out to Captain Electro, shout out to Captain Electro, the edge bevel is rather steep. Bit more of a poker by his description, Jimbus' description. And yeah, I saw that as well. And that is why I, just as he, concluded that some thinning was in order. And I have a Tormach. Not to gloat too much, but it did make it easy to get it thinner. Now, it's still fairly scratched. And what it doesn't do very well for me yet, at least, is flatten that well. So then I, flattened out on a diamond stone as well. And then I buffed it up. So, and kind of polished the edge. And then I made a video about it and cut myself and blah, 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 and now we're going to start again. Right, so my thoughts. This sheath is great. It's so lightweight. Now, the way they put it makes me want to hang it that way. Of course, you could flip the string around, but immediately I put it on that way, and then I thought, well, actually having the blade pointed that way, maybe they thought of it. 50-50, but maybe they were thinking, because if you're holding this like this and you're putting the blade in this way, you're more likely to cut yourself than if you have it. Whereas it's hard to do that through the camera. You lose your depth perception. Whereas if you have it hanging like this, it's like the wrong way around, but it's actually very easy to just grab it and twist it and pull it out that way. Now, how I nicked myself, so I left this little smiley recurve thing there, right? Which is a result of the sharpening choil being too far back, or the plunge grind being too far forwards, as you will. I also ran over a little bit. But anyway, I thought, well, that's cool. We'll start developing a recurve here, maybe, over time, and curve this out as well, which originally was, a real tanto with the two different bevels, as it were. But I just kind of blended that in, fairly, still somewhat imperfectly. I also discovered the, it's pretty straight, but there is a bit of a bias. So we started working that out. So the tip is not aligned, as it were, but the edge is now straight. And so the blade is actually leaning slightly that way. Kind of hard to see, but I think that's my bad. Let me grab a ruler. See what we can see. See whether that's true according to... Okay. Seem to be getting the opposite result now. Okay. It's exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. Where is it? Oh, it's the stock thickness is... Oh, okay. I thought it was the same thickness the whole way down. But of course, yeah, no, because there's this swedging going all the way down the top there. So I'm being goofy. Let's try like this. Yeah, you can see the kink to the right there. You can see it. Plain as day. If I were to put a light behind there, we'd probably see the light. I'll just test that for myself, and then you can take my word for it. Yes. and it's worse than that. It kind of goes straight and then it bows out and then comes back in again. But I mean, it's all very subtle. All right, you can see that though, right? So what can you do about this? Well, there's still a lot of thickness there. So this could be just ground straight and distally tapered and what have you. But since the edge is straight, and if it curves this way and there's a hump on this side, then for the purposes of whittling, I think it's fine. If you're going in this direction, it's behaving like a slimmer knife. It's just got a bulge on this side. And if you're going on this side, it's behaving like a chunkier knife. I'm over that. So I did some testing. Did some bit of this, bit of that. Here's a piece of lilac wood. It's hollow, but this wood is very hard, right? Yes. So I was doing some drilling before with this tip. I'm looking around for the piece of wood. I can't see it, but I drilled. It's right here. Yeah. I drilled this, so I would say that this is halfway through. This is seasoned oak. This is very tough, right? I drilled about halfway through that. I mean, halfway through as in the tip is about halfway in, the point down there. And maybe it took me, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. And, well, you know what? Scrap the lilacs. Discovered this. Let's see whether I can go in from the other side. That was my thinking. We'll see how long it takes for me to get the point to poke out again. Also though, having done this, that was what I wanted to do right now. Let's just say, does it still cut paper? It's gotta cut paper. Let's get a piece of paper. So yeah, the very tip there, it's going. But that's quite sharp. So the tip is going in terms of sharpness. And this is 8CR13 MOV, I believe, is what that is. And I also believe that if you told me last week, hey, you can have this knife in 8CR13 MOV, or you can have it in Oz 8 steel, I would be like, man, well, the Oz 8, I think that sounds a bit better, doesn't it? And but I gather now that it's the same steel. So, thanks, Laren, Dr. Laren. Big respect. Yeah, so I found that for doing this drilling, these little guard things here, in other moments they're a definite hotspot, especially the top one. But for doing this, they're good because they give you a little extra leverage. And when I was experimenting with this, I found that because this was digging in somewhere, I tried kind of going over the top, and I was doing this movement and nicked myself with that, right? And this is a thing that some knives have it and some knives don't. This heel, right? Like a pucco, just doesn't have this. This has quite a pronounced one, actually quite useful. This doesn't have one. This does. This doesn't. And so forth, right? And yeah, this one does, and it'll nick ya. So I'm not going over the top. I'm staying back, and I'm concluding that you could definitely do something good with this handle. You know, something to make it a superior handle. Not too difficult. A wrap, in fact, is the first thing that I think I'm going to try. Hey, my wife's calling me. Thanks for watching.